Hello, anyone not still living in the 1970s? We interrupt your day to bring you this announcement. Husker Ninja is in the building. Alright, guys, we are here today with episode number 2 of the Road to Canton series, which is what we have decided to name this little subscriber player simulation career series here on NCAA 14. And so we are here. Last episode, we had all the players created. We simmed through a season until they all committed. And so this episode, we will get through about the first 5 weeks of their first season. As we start by showing you where everyone's standing on the depth chart, you've got Joshua Bentley is the 4th-string running back at Alabama right now, and he has a teammate. It would be my friend Craze Donuts wide receiver DeAndre Bozeman, who is not on the depth chart, so it would appear he's being redshirted this year. We'll have to keep an eye out for that. Honestly, I probably would have redshirted Bentley too if he's only going to be the 4th running back, but I mean, they can do what they want. And you got Zach Brader, the starting middle linebacker for UConn, as a true freshman. So our first starter. You also have Terry Jowers, Real Sports Videos player right there, joining him. He will be a starting cornerback at East Carolina. Then looking at Florida, you got Alistair Cole, my guy Kaz Craig of Craniac Gaming. That's his player. He's wide receiver number 6. I would probably have redshirted him as well. You got my player Christoph Hornswoggle, the starting tight end for Iowa State. And then looking at LSU, you got Colin Mentor, the 3rd-string running back as a true freshman. He'll be probably getting some playing time, but not a ton. Drew Ekstrom is the 3rd defensive tackle at Missouri here. You got a bunch of 3rd-stringers right now, and a bunch of guys I would honestly probably redshirt. And Cornelius Jenkins, he is not on the depth chart either at North Carolina, so far him and Bozeman appear to be the 2 red shirts. Yeah, Justin Burton, Royal and Poison's player, is a 6th-string wideout at Ohio State. And my guy FG, his player Jordan Mickelson, is a starting strong safety at Oklahoma. And then you got Jonathan Banks, a 3rd-string quarterback right now for Virginia Tech on that depth chart. So before we get into the games, a quick reminder here that FG, the inspiration for the series comes from FG's On Deck series, mini-series in MLB The Show 19. As UConn here losing the BYU, Brader had 5 tackles, looked like 3 solo, I believe. So Brader getting in on some tackles even though his team loses the game. And East Carolina takes down South Carolina 28-13. They score 21 in the 4th. And Jowers had 2 tackles, 1 solo, 1 assisted. No interceptions, but he did have 2 deflections. So 2 pass breakups in an opening win for Terry Jowers at ECU. And Virginia Tech takes down Notre Dame 44-28. You're going to assume Banks did not play, and he did not. Ohio State beats Navy 38-7. Nothing for Burton in the receiving game, he gets 5 punt returns for 13 yards. So it's looking like Burton will be a return specialist for the most part. We'll have to see if he can make an impact in the return game this year then as a true freshman. Alabama needs overtime to beat West Virginia 20-17. Bentley had 2 carries, 12 yards, averaged 6 yards a carry, and he did not get in on the receiving game. Florida takes down Idaho 27-3. Nothing for Cole in the receiving game, but he had 2 kickoff returns for 37 yards, and so he averaged 18.5 yards return. He had 1 punt return for 15 yards. And then week 2, Florida takes down Eastern Michigan 35-14. Nothing in the receiving game there for Cole. He had 1 kick return for 18 yards and 4 punt returns for 13. So it's looking like Cole and Burton are going to be some return specialists here as true freshmen. And UNC was checking just to make sure nothing there for Cornelius Jenkins, so he did redshirt. And as we move to Iowa State, they beat FCS East, and Hornswoggle with his first career touchdown pass in the first quarter, or first touchdown reception, I guess. He had 4 catches, 31 yards in the score. Had no drops, so a solid all-around game right there. Missouri gets shut out by Indiana, and Ekstrom did not get in on the action here. And then LSU takes down Louisiana Monroe. We're looking nothing in the box score there for Mentor. And so we move on. Ohio State takes down Cincinnati. They put up 38 points, nothing in the receiving game. In the return game, Burton had 2 kickoff returns for 27 yards and 3 punt returns for 24. Alabama, they are going to beat Florida Atlantic, and nothing for Joshua Bentley. Oklahoma needs 21 fourth quarter points to stave off an upset bid from FCS Midwest. Mickelson with 5 tackles, 3 solo, 2 assisted. So Oklahoma gets a dub, but they did not look too good doing it. Now we are into week 3. Ohio State wins again. They take down Kent State. Burton, 1 kick return, 27 yards. No punt returns for Burton there. LSU beats Rice. They need overtime. It looks like that went 3 overtimes, I think. So LSU barely surviving an upset bid from Rice there. Mentor had 6 carries, 32 yards. Broken tackle, no fumbles. And he didn't do anything in the return game. Bama beats the brakes off FCS East, and it's looking like nothing on the stat sheet there for Bentley. Iowa handles Iowa State. Hornswoggle, 2 catches, 54 yards, had a long of 49. Virginia Tech wins again, and they beat ECU. So as we look for Jowers, he had 1 tackle, no interceptions again, but he had another deflection. And yeah, nothing right there for nothing there for Banks. Oklahoma loses to Tennessee, so after they almost lose to FCS, they do lose to Tennessee. Mickelson gets a few tackles, and he had a deflection as well, I believe. Florida takes down Ole Miss. They improved to 3-0. Nothing in the receiving game still for Cole. He will get in on the kick return game. And Missouri taking down No, they lose to UCF, my bad. Ekstrom still not getting in onto the action there. And Boise State will beat UConn. So Brader getting in on the action a little bit right there. Now we move on. Iowa State wins again. They take down Toledo. Hornswoggle had 3 catches for 33 yards. And as we move on, ECU gets crushed by North Carolina. We're looking for Jowers. He had 2 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, half a sack. So not a terrible performance. He had another deflection right there. LSU beats Mississippi State 28-16. Mentor, 1 carry, 9 yards. No fumbles. Missouri gets on the board, beating FCS West 43-7, I believe that was. Ekstrom will get 3 tackles, 1 solo, 2 assisted, 1 tackle for loss, half a sack. And so finally getting some playing time and making the most of it. As Florida, I believe that was, they doubled up Tennessee. Cole had 3 kick returns, 50 yards. And he had 2 punt returns for 16. Virginia Tech losing to Ohio State. Burton had 4 kick returns, 74 yards, averaged 18.5 yards a kick return, 1 punt return for 13. OU beats Tulsa right there. And Mickelson had 1 tackle. And not much else it's looking like. Alabama beats Ole Miss right there. Still nothing for Bentley. And UConn still win this. They lose to Ball State 31-24. Brader had 2 tackles, both solo. And not too much else for him there. ECU beats Nevada. Jowers had an assisted tackle, and that's about it. Florida 5-0. They beat Kentucky, remain undefeated. Cole had 2 kick returns, 46 yards, 2 punt returns for 11. And Iowa State will take down Oklahoma 35-31. They scored 28 points in the second half. And the winning score comes on a 48-yard pass to Allen Lazard with 2 seconds left. What a game right there. Mickelson had 4 tackles. He also had a deflection and a forced fumble. And receiving-wise, Hornswoggle had 3 receptions, 52 yards. And LSU will take down Tennessee. They're going to win by 2 anyway. And Missouri beats Georgia. Get shut out by Indiana, but handle Georgia. Go figure. UNC beats Notre Dame. And again, just checking to make sure, but there's still no mention right there of Cornelius Jenkins. And Ohio State crushes Wisconsin. Burton got in, made his first collegiate reception. It was a 21-yard touchdown catch. So Burton, with his first receiving score of his career, had 1 kick return, 25 yards, 6 punt returns for, I believe that was 47. And now we end the episode with a look at season stats. Bentley, 2 carries, 12 yards. Brader, 12 tackles, 5 solo. He had a tackle for loss. And nothing else doing for him there. 6 tackles for Terry Jowers so far, 1 for loss, half a sack. No interceptions yet, but 4 deflections. And Cole had 12 kick returns, 244 yards, averaging a little over 20 yards a return. 10 punt returns, 65 yards. Hornswoggle, the team's second leading receiver receptions-wise. Behind Bundridge, has 12 carries, 170 yards, and a touchdown. Bundridge with 400 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns already. And no draws for either Hornswoggle or Bundridge. So a nice receiving threat brewing for Iowa State. Mentor, getting some touches. He got 7 carries so far. Ekstrom has not played aside from his participation in the FCS win. Burton with 1 catch, but it was a 21-yard touchdown. 8 kick returns, 153 yards, and 15 punt returns for, I think that was 97. 14 tackles for Mickelson. 2 deflections, a forced fumble. And Jonathan Banks not getting in yet at Virginia Tech. Probably won't without any injuries. But that'll do it for this episode, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day, everybody.